Jannike.
Hi, good morning.
What does the UK government really want out of this meeting?
So first of all, I would say hosting the European political community within 2 weeks of coming into government is really a gift to Keir Starmer. This is going to be a useful springboard for his ambition to reset the relationship with the European Union and to change the tone of the relationship. But it's also an opportunity for him to really speed date 45 European heads of state and government within a very short period of time. And those relationships will be essential for to realize this ambition to reset the relationship. So I think for the government, this is going to be mainly an exercise in relationship building, setting the tone, and kind of introducing Keir Starmer to his fellow European leaders.
Yeah, we're worth reminding people that this could or should have been Rishi Sunak hosting this event because it was set up a long time ago, but he decided to go for the election early, and a lot of people felt that was handing, as you say, a gift to Keir Starmer. You say changing the tone. What does that mean in policy terms?
I think changing the tone for now just means rebuilding trust, building relationships with other European leaders, which will be the foundation of negotiations that might follow at a later stage. We know that Keir Starmer's Labour government, what they want from the EU is kind of a two-track approach. So on the one hand, they want to strengthen the security relationship via what they call a security pact with the European Union. And on the other hand, they are after some trade easements for certain sectors like the agricultural sector, the agri-food sector in the UK, for example. But as David Lammy said to you earlier this morning, those negotiations will follow later. So for now, it's really about kind of setting the tone of the relationship.
Although, as you say, Labour are adamant they're not revising any Brexit arguments, but this does give them an opportunity for greater cooperation under the cloak of a kind of leader event where they're talking about other stuff like security. And on that, we hear that there will be serious discussions about a deal on illegal migration. One newspaper reporting this morning that President Macron and Keir Starmer may come up with an arrangement whereby France take back some people who've travelled across the Channel on small boats, whilst the UK agrees to take a small number, although they won't say quota, a small number of migrants. What do you know about that?
On migration, I would just say, well, it will certainly be discussed at the EPC summit today, but it's only one of 3 roundtables that will be held. So energy is also on the agenda, defense and democracy, and of course, European security and the situation in Ukraine. So migration is really only one of many topics that will be discussed today. We know that Keir Starmer is interested in a returns agreement with the European Union, and his decision to drop the Rwanda scheme is probably helpful from the EU's perspective and might open up some space for conversation. But I would also caution that this is a very sensitive topic for the EU as well. They've just agreed their own asylum and migration pact, which still has to be implemented in the coming years. And I don't think that striking a returns agreement with the UK is necessarily going to be top of the agenda for them, but that doesn't mean there's nothing that can be done. You can certainly strengthen cooperation at the operational level between UK and EU agencies, like the EU's border agency Frontex. We already have a working agreement with them. You could also look at closer working relationships with Europol on law enforcement. So there are certainly things that can be done at the operational level.
Yeah, and how much effective policy can actually be agreed outside EU institutions?
I don't think the EPC summit today will be a place to negotiate or agree anything when it comes to the UK-EU relationship. The focus at the EPC is very often also at the bilateral level. So, as you say, for example, discussions between the UK and France or the UK and other partners. When it comes to the European Union, I think negotiations will take, if there are negotiations, they will take place at a later stage because the European Union just had its European Parliament elections, and they're currently putting together the new European Commission, which will be in place later this year. And I don't think we will see any negotiations with the EU until the Commission is in place, because they are the ones who have the competency when it comes to trade negotiations.
Jannike, thank you very much for your time. Jannike Wachowiak, a researcher at the think tank UK Interchanging Europe. We're looking